So this morning, the structure of the class will be, I will get started with you showing me your assignments, okay? So if you have started on the assignments, because the assignment is very short, you see, so we don't want you to make any mistake, and I really do want to see that you all can score in it, So I would really love to give you like 8 or 7 at least out of 10, kind of thing, easily get 7 and 8 out of 10 sort of things, I don't wish to see some of you getting like 4 or 5 marks kind of stuff, you see. So it's actually one case study is actually 10 marks. So one case is 10 marks. So I mean, like if you can get 7, 7, 7, 7, that is like you're looking at about 28, you see, out of 40. And if you do well with Dr. Ambrose's assignment, you get a 15, 16 sort of things. You're looking about 40 plus, you see. So you only really need to pass your exams to pass, you see, and get a better grade, like a B plus sort of things, Everybody should end up trying to get a B plus, not a B. See, B is just a pass. B minus. 60 marks is a B minus. So you get a B at least a 65 and above, you see. So I hope that some of your assignments can be 7, 8, sort of thing. So you make it out at 30 out of 40 at least, you see. I would say with this sort of assignments, getting a 10 out of 10 is just practically impossible. Unless it's so well written, it's so excellent, 9 is very possible. It is really good, then 8 to 8.5, 9 is possible, you see. So like I said, a good assignment will be ranging around 8 to 7.5, So yeah, I mean 7, 7.5 will be good. You see, so very, very average. We're looking at about 6 out marks, meaning that you just basically barely touch. You see, so those touch on this, and then that's it. And then you are done. That one is like 6 kind of sort of things. And of course, if you do it, if you bother to hand in, not just give me half a page per case studies. Most of you will pass by getting a 5, 5.5, 5 sort of things, you see. So that's why I said depending on what you want, you see, and we do want to groom you to a point that you can get at least some 7, some 8, even some 9 maybe, So, and I wouldn't be grading you based on your draft. So it will still be the final version that I see from you. So every week we will still come in and have class, come in like this to actually show me your assignments until the end of the sem. So actually from now until the end of the sem is actually very, very fast already. It's only about 4 weeks left, less than 4 weeks left, including this week. I think it's only 4 weeks left. Yeah, I mean, even though the last 2 weekends, on the timetable, supposed to be starting next week, we have double class, but because of my commitment in the Mang side, so I have no choice. I have to shift your double class to the last 2 weeks, meaning that 1st of May and 30th of April will be our double class, and then the week before that will be a double class, okay? So take note of that. Next week, there's no double class. Next week will be still morning class. And then the Sunday afternoon class, it will be free for you all to do whatever you need to do. And in the last 2 weeks, we will have double class. Double class would usually mean that we have one full class and then another one we will be giving you just pre-recorded sort of things, you see. So that is not too heavy for most of you, you see. So usually we pre-recorded, it will be about this 70, 80, maximum 90 minutes sort of things for you all to listen to over the week, over the weekend, or after the class. So you can listen to like 10 minutes first, and then if you like it, you are getting more interested, you want to listen to the second segments, third segments, and then you can stop for the day, and then continue tomorrow. There's no harm in doing that, okay? Yeah. So that is how I'll be structuring it. Today class, it will be by pre-recorded. I've already prepared the pre-recording. It will be about 8 to 15 minutes. So you can split it up into 2 days or 3 days to finish it up. And then next week, when we come back in again, we will, as usual, we will do assignments with you first, and then proceed with the class, or do the class first and proceed with the assignment. Next week, likely it will be just full class. Full class meaning that I will give you a full lecture right here on other issues that is related to quality, to the site supervision, and machineries, material, that sort of thing. So that will be next class. Okay, so we can look at the assignment before or after. Today, so after last week, I feel like you all need some time to digest yourself, to do the assignment, get yourself hit up with the assignment. So we will do assignment discussion. It doesn't matter if it takes 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or even nobody show me anything, then we will start to go home already. Okay, so it's like tutup kedai balik kampung kind of thing. So I hope that, I know some people have already shown me your work. I will speak about it also, but some people haven't. So I am strongly encouraging you here to show me your work or discuss about the assignments. Okay. Right. So this is how we will structure this morning class. So we will likely finish early, and you can go and do whatever you want. Then I will post up while you go and do whatever you want. I will post up the recordings. So whenever you feel like it, but you must listen to it before the next class. That is a must. You can listen it to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all can, but you must listen to it before the next class and start the next case study before the next class. So that is a must. Okay. So that's how we will structure today. All right. All right. So any one of you have anything to show me at the moment? Like, how come it's only 6? Where's the others? Zain, Eddery, and it's been missing. Is he be attending other classes, or is he just avoiding me? I'm his RP supervisor and he never show up. Maybe he's avoiding me. Oh dear, that would be bad. And design, Eddery, Albert are usually a bit late. He's always a bit late. I can tell. And is Amalina also? Where is she? They didn't say that they're not coming to classes, left.
Morning, doctor.
Yeah.
I'm Amalina. I'm attending your class, but my laptop is I'm still figuring the problems with my laptop. So I'm using my phone, so I couldn't scan yet. I texted you this morning, doctor. Okay, thank you, doctor.
Never mind. I will do the manual attendance for you now. You wait.
Okay. Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay, so then we have 3 left. Right. Let's do this. Any one of you want to show me your assignment? I will unshare the screen, and then you can share your screen. It doesn't matter even if you just have 1 paragraph, just show me something, so that we can have some room for discussion.
Hi, Doctor. Riley here. Can I show mine?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Whether I share. But this is basically just a draft, Doctor. I haven't finished it. But but I wanted to share with Can everybody see my screen? Hello?
Yeah.
Can.
Okay, so Doctor, this is basically my table of content. I wanted to seek for your advice, a few of it. So basically, I'm using a 2 project, but each project it consists of 2 event or 2 case study, which is for my first project. This is the approach road for Batang Lupa. This is from Costa and Second Trunk Road. So I'm using 2 case study for 1 project, which is first one is for the delay and all the AOT related. And then the second is on the VO and all the valuation of variations, clause 32, and then event of delay is clause 42. Basically, this is how to say state government funded project, so they are using the JKRS form of contract. How is my arrangement, doctor? Is it is it okay?
Yes. Intro is basically, I would say, are you going to do the introduction to? We have one introduction already, which is 1.0. So this is general overview. General overview is basically what this project, what this assignment, what this report is all about. Okay, so you can write like this the report is about what, and then the involved case studies is about what. So it's just a introduction of your report, you see. So then after that, you don't need another introduction. Normally we don't have two introductions in one paper. So when you have background of project, that is you're actually telling us about the project, correct? The project, where is it? Maybe it's the site plan or the scope of this project. So that is in 2.2. So then I need you to talk about straight away the event itself, meaning that the issue itself. If it's a delay issue, then you talk about the delay issue. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you don't. So the event of delay, that particular event, that issue itself, you have to talk about the issue itself first. Okay. So you describe like what happened, like let's say from what day to what day, there was this issue of delays. It happens because of what reasons, because of weather, because of delay in materials, or you describe the event, okay? The event of the problem, okay? So this one you have to shift up first. So after your background project, the event, and after the event, you are going to look at all the related clauses, the clauses that actually are related to that particular event. Okay, so in this event, these are the clauses: clause 41, clause 41, clause 38, or whatever is. You list it down first, and then you just make a brief description of all these clauses, what these clauses is all about in JKR's form of contract. So of course, when you are describing the background of the project, you can also write about the form that you are using, the contract that you are using. So that will be in the background of the project already. So then the second, after you write about the clauses, now I want you to write about the contractual obligations and you don't really have to have. If you talk about contractual obligations, it's not only contractual obligations. If you write about contractual obligations, you need to write about contractual responsibilities and duties and obligations, you see. So rights and obligations, sorry. So you can have contractual rights and obligations. That means you are going to be describing the clause from the perspective of contractor must do what, and then the SO must do what, and then their rights and all that. So yeah, I don't know how you want to relate that to the clauses itself. So maybe in the clauses itself, if you're just writing what clauses is related, then in the contractual obligation and rights and obligation, it will be a description. Okay. So in this, when you write about contractual rights and obligations and proposal to overcome, all these are already with respect to the issues already. I don't want you to sort of like beating around the bush, talking about what is in there, and then later on you have a proposal to overcome sort of things, you see. So it will be like too long lah. I don't think you can finish in 5 pages lah, huh?
Oh, okay, all right.
It's okay if you go to 6 or 7 or 8 even, so I'm fine to read that. It's just that but if it's necessary, yeah, you go to the extent, it's fine. Okay. But if it's not, then you're just dragging it. There's a difference between your purposely feeler up doing a feeler than whether it's necessary sort of things, you see.
I see. Okay, Doctor, another thing, is it necessary for me to to state it all the project itself? I mean the brief contracts particular, and then what is the project all about, and also the layout plan. Is this necessary?
this is already the background of the project. So you don't need to have one introduction and one background. It's the same thing, okay?
Oh, okay.
So you just have to combine these two. So do the background project and then the contract particular, not the other way around, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, doctor.
So that this brief description first, and then the scope of work, and then the contract particular. So that one, I think about 2 pages will be more than enough to cover everything. Then you go to the event of the what is the event? Is it the problem? The event of issues with VO, issues with delays, so that one you need at least half a page of a good description of what is happening here.
See. Okay, Doctor, another question. Actually, this event of delay basically have many EOT. I think 4 or 5, and then for the VO, this is I think 7 or 8. Should I include all or just generally stated that how VO is happen?
You can just use one of them to talk about it.
Okay.
If you're confident to write like, if all of them are basically the same thing, like roughly the same thing, then you can actually combine them and write it like as a whole. Also can.
Mm-hmm.
Really depends on your writing, how well you can write, and if you want to take one of them and describe one of them, we are more than happy to just take that as it is. Yeah.
Okay, Doctor. Noted.
So instead
Yeah.
of if you feel like, okay, the 4 delays events, they are all the same thing, except that the reason for delays are different, you see. So you just describe that, from what day to what day there's this delay that happens because of this, from this happens to this happens to this, So you just briefly describe the 4 events due to what kind of reason, and then how your team what are the clauses that are related to those things, you see. If there are other people like here, some of you may have other more issues, meaning that the event was handled already, but it was handled wrongly. Some of it, if you want to write it in that sense, also can, you see. So you may want to write in the issues of delay that it was not granted. Then there was a dispute, between the contractor and the SO, and then now in order to resolve this, we will look into the clauses that are related to it, you see, in the standard contract form, and then those clauses are clauses 41, clauses what, you see. So, yeah, I mean, like, you don't combine your 31 and 41, because 31 belongs to the other issue, so you don't combine that. Properly put 41, and then what about LAD? There's a few other clauses that are involved. So, if they what about schedules? Like, we asked to give a schedule, so schedule was also one of the clauses. So it's not only one clause, So we are looking at a few clauses that are going to address the issues. You see.
Okay, all right.
So you list down those clauses. Okay, so these clauses are dealing with this, or you can have like clause 41 deals with this. Give a 2 or 3 sentence on this matter. Then deal with the procedures for extension of time, deal with the reason for extension of time with the way to make way to make application for extension of time. It listed out the rules for extension of times, and then when you go into the next one, contractual obligation and proposal to outcome. I'm not sure how you can combine, or do you really need to split the two out? So this one I can't really see. For me, I'll probably, depending on how much I have to write, if let's say for me, I will probably go like, if it's very short, there's only 1 or 2 clauses involved, I will talk about the rights and obligations. So in 41, it requires the contractor to do so this, while the SO must do this. So in the event of your problem, okay, it is suggested that the contractor must carry out application, okay, and there was a delay in application, okay. So do you still allow that? Contractually, you may not allow that, but because the contract hasn't come to the end of it, you still will require the contractor to submit for for review, for example, for assessments. You see, so this is what I mean by proposal to outcome to overcome. Okay.
Okay.
And then you say that okay, the SO contractual obligation is supposed to assess the application or take note of the notes to, because there was a 7 days, you must put in a letter and say that you are requesting for it, and then after that, after a certain time, you have to request for it. You see, so request for EOT, you have to make a application. So the SO responsibilities is doing this. You see, so and yeah, so in the event of your problem, like when your problem occur, the SO did not, like maybe you can say that I don't know what happened. So maybe the SO did not actually assess the issues, you see. So or they actually do assess the issue and then they assess it based on what? Based on clause 41, these sort of reasons, and then it was found that two of the reason was not accepted or something like that, you know.
Okay.
It's a description of your how to overcome it contractually, like properly how to do a job, see, as a SO and as a client. And the client, according to that clause, their rights, their obligation is to reject or approve the EOT and provide additional time, So you can also write about how the SO do the assessments, because we've already mentioned that there's few types of in very simple form of event assessments is to do whether it's concurrent, whether it's critical, whether it's compensable, whether it's what is the other one? Excusable. So there's a 4 category. So you may want to talk about how the SO assessed it, So yeah, and then if they don't assess it in certain way, maybe you want to make recommendation of they should be assessing it in that way, see?
Okay, right.
Conclusion is basically about what was done and is it good, and then what would be a better recommendation to handle this particular event, this particular contractual event. You're clear, Riley?
Yes, very clear.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, like you're started, but it's not that difficult. Especially, I think for many of you, these are not difficult because you're in that environment of doing contracts and also somehow even if you don't do contracts, you go and now you're aware that there's such a thing. You're going back to those contracts is not difficult. For people who are doing QS work, definitely not difficult. Okay. But the engineers one, you probably have heard of it, you've handled it before. It's just that you're not sure exactly what is stated in your contract. Just go back to that contract and read through those clauses and then define it and then write accordingly, basically. Some of you are actually using construction examples. I know Amalina is, Riley is, I'm sure that Tia is using a construction example. What about Fazana? Definitely will be using a construction example. It's just that I don't know if you have any work experience to actually do this, okay? And can the others response, like Clarence and Victor, are you going to be using an oil and gas example?
For me, I use more to construction. That one is fire rated door for plant or MLNG plant.
Okay.
BF code, yeah.
Which contract are you using?
Standard form of contract.
Which one?
What? Let
Are
me
you
show.
using KNM or are you using your own company? You have a own, because some company like SEB and Samdabi Putrajaya, so a lot of them have their own contract clauses, you see. So are you using your own one that your company drafted yourself? Or are you using a very standard one like PWD or JKR Sarawak standard form of contract? Which one are you using?
PEMS contract. Can I combine this one? PEM and our contract agreement between client and contractor also?
Can, but you should be very careful because you cannot just use PAM like that, what is in your contract. So if your contract actually has PAM in it, then you use PAM lah.
Okay.
Unless your agreement with the client is actually PAM contract plus some special condition.
So special condition. Maybe I can show you my draft, doctor.
Can
Okay, okay.
most building projects are actually using PAM, Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia contract, standard form of contract. So I'm not surprised if you're using PAM. But what I mean is when you have a standard form of contract already, the client normally don't have another general conditions of contract with another agreement, with the supplier or the contractor, you see. You can.
Okay, can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I use my company example lah. Steelhawk appointed as contractor for Petronas for fire rated door. Then
Yes.
this one at BIF Bintulu Bicot.
Mm.
And this one background of the project lah. This project scheduled to complete by 24th of March, but there is some delay. So basically this is the how the schedule should be lah. AFC
Yes.
drawing and then prefab, then shipping, and then
Yep.
execution, and then but actual we only managed to complete until prefab as of 22nd of April. So uh we expect some delay lah in the
Yes.
completion of this project lah.
Correct. That's good.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah. Your introduction is very clear, and then but just don't use the word introduction and background. Background is background. Introduction normally is introduction to the assignment.
Okay, okay. Introduction to assignment. Okay. So this one is just general lah, regarding LAD, and then non-compliant, and then this one I got this contract lah, contract Act 1950.
No need. You are wasting your pages. All these
Okay.
are just like these are what I consider as filler. Filler. Much you watch drama, they are filler. You want to make it to 30 episodes, then you purposely like keep on stuffing things that is not interesting, you see. So or not related, just to make up the 40 episodes. So basically all your contract are formed based on the Contract Act of Malaysia. So you don't really have to have another, emphasis. What I want is what contract form are you using? You have
Okay.
to answer me that question.
Okay, okay. So this one obligation to complete this one is it related also? No.
No, answer me, Victor. Is your contract, the standard form that you're using, confirmed to be standard form, the PAM form?
Yeah, PEM form.
Okay. So then you have to write in the after your the event of the delay, what is the reason for the what are the background? You've already given me the happening. What happened? The delay happened already. You haven't given me what was the reason. You have described this event properly, like what was the reason for that delays and all that. So then after that, you also need to be before you need to talk about the event, or when you're talking about the event itself, it's not like that. Like, I mean, like you have already right up there. You go up there, up a bit. Here, stop. So you have already written about this event. This is the problem. Continue talking about it. What was the causes of that? Why you guys only have done up to prefab, you see?
Okay.
So these are the what was the reasoning and what was the action that you guys have taken, you see, contractually. Okay. Have you guys applied for EOT? And has it been granted? You have to describe your event, you know.
Okay.
Then that is very important because this is the issue here. You haven't described the issue. So you want to have, it's either you take all this here about the delay into another section called issues or the event, you know, the event of delay or the issues with the delays. You see, something like that. Then you describe what happened, you see, to your issues. Project is project, issues is issues, okay?
Yeah.
So once you've done that, okay, then you have to know that now that you have a contractual issue. So what form, what contract is it being used to address these issues? So then you need to describe, if you're using PAM, you need to start to describe PAM a little bit. So PAM is a Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia contract that is used for this project, okay? When you're signing the contract with the Petronas Cari Gali, right? What contract, what you are the contractor. So what is the relationship here? Is this, so you have an agreement, and this agreement, how does it cover this delay?
Hmm.
You have to address that. So what are the clauses in the contract that are covering your issue? So you must tell me what contract you're using. So are you sure you're using PAM?
Yeah.
Okay, so you describe PAM. So in a very 2 or 3 or 4 sentences to describe what is PAM, okay? And that is already section, maybe like the reason may be, the background may be section 1, the reason may be section 2, and then, you know, the contract that is being used is section 3, okay? And then you describe the relevant clauses. What are the clauses that are related to your event? So it will be delay, extension of time, schedules, you know. So you must go to PAM contract and take out all those clauses. What are the clauses? Okay. So you may not need to write all the clauses here. Put it in the appendix, the clauses, but you must describe that clause 1 or clause 4 or clause 5 or clause 6 that is dealing with delays is what? I think you have something like that at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere here. Okay. Oh, wait. Up. Okay. So yeah, I mean, like, where, so if this is clause 1, is clause 1 already? This is about good quality. This is not about on time.
Yeah. So I need to look for contract clause that are related to time lah.
Yes. The clauses
So
that
for
are related to your problem.
okay. So for this clause, I just put this one in appendix.
If it's the writing, if it's like the contractor shall what, you know, what is the wording in the contract, that one you put it in the appendix. I don't think 6 page or even 10 page can cover.
Okay.
So meaning that the event happened, and then you describe the event, and then this one will have to be dealt with PAM form, because that was the agreement that you signed with the client. Because in the agreement that you signed with the client, there is what we call a general condition and special condition. So the whole agreement itself, if you have this PAM form in your agreement itself, that means that is part of your agreement. It's not separate, you know.
Okay.
Okay, so, and it's not like your, and that, like I can say, is some company, they don't use any of this form. They just go and take, they actually have their own. You see, like, for example, SEB, they have their own standard form of contract one. And inside they will talk about EOT, they will talk about LAD, they will talk about delays, you see. So you must follow back whatever that is in your agreement. That's why I keep on asking you this question. Is PAM form part of your agreement? If PAM form is part of your agreement, and then you don't have any special condition that is dealing with EOT or delay, then that's it. you use PEM form. You understand or not, Victor? You can be like, that if let's say this project, you already have a specific contract that is written by Petronas Cari Gali, or Petronas Cari Gali, they actually have their own standard. Are you sure you are looking at that standard? And you don't simply say that, oh, I do not PEM form to address this issue, you see? Even though I would not have any proof of what you have done, but you yourself know, you know? So does Petronas Cari Gali actually sign a contract with you guys that they have their own terms and conditions, or they
Yes.
follow PEM?
I think yes, they have different contract with us. Yeah.
Then why are you using PEM if they have different contracts?
Okay. I try to explore on our contract for this case study.
Yes. If
Okay.
your contract itself is stated there that okay, maybe your agreement that let's say Petronas Jolly, I mean like people like Shell, Petronas, they don't want to use other people's form one. They don't go general one. They will go with their own one. Like JKR, they will use their own form one. People working for JKR, you know very well one. They will never touch PEM form. They will never touch other form. They will have their own form. PWD 203 and JKR Sarawak's form of contract is JKR form. Other people can use JKR form, but JKR don't use other people's form. Petronas is the same also. They don't use other people's form. They will use their own form, but other people can borrow their form and use their form. But sometimes because maybe it's very new or the project is very special, it's not very their own form that cover everything. They will also combine with other form like PEMCA or PWD, you know. Likely is they will also combine with PWD. So, or they will refer to PWD. Sometimes they combine with CIDB, sometimes they combine with PEM also, especially for building projects. Like your case is door and all that, it is fine. It is good to use PEM form. Normally, it's an architectural thing, so therefore they will use PEM form. But does not mean that it is the right thing to do. You see, so if you're doing that thing, you're not learning anything. You haven't explored whatever that is in your own project. So you go and look at the agreement between Petronas Cari Gali and your company Steel Hong that you the bosses signed, and in there, besides the tender agreement or the proposal, there will be clauses, or even if you don't see the clauses, supposed to be there will be something that says refer to PEM form, refer to whatever, or they actually put in a page like JKR likes to do that. They don't put the entire form, all the 70 clauses or 40 plus clauses into the form, into your agreement, but they will put the cover page of that particular form, and then they put it in, and then the contractor and the people signing the form, the SO must know that they refer to that form, you see?
Okay.
So Victor, it's okay, you have already got started with already detected where your problem is. Go and have a look at your Petronas Cari Gali contract and then see what is in there that deals with EOT and all that. Maybe it doesn't. There's nothing there that deals with EOT. So then you go and look for whether there are any pages or anything that states that they are referring to an external standard form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Betul.
I know there is a lot of people here that actually don't understand what is standard form. And every contract act of Malaysia is an act, is the regulations of how all the contract must be made. Okay, there must be event of offer, acceptance, consideration, and all that. So it's all stated there. And then if you want to breach the contract, there is remedies, there are penalty, all these things that they actually tell you how to make a contract. Ladies and gentlemen, Contract Act of Malaysia is not a contract. Contract Act of Malaysia is just to tell everyone in Malaysia how you can draft a contract and how it is to make it a valid contract. So you and I can sit down and simply write, like, you pay me this money, I do this work for you, you can write like that. But if you say your contract lost the element of what is in the Contract Act of Malaysia, that means if you go to court with this contract later on, if there's dispute, nobody will look at it because it's not a valid contract. See? So the contract itself is just like a foundation. It's like macam the blueprint, blueprint for all the contract in Malaysia. But it's not contract. And one of the very important elements in a contract is to actually have terms and conditions. Okay, so terms and conditions usually sets out what is the right of the party, what is the obligation of the party involved. So every contract has to be fair lah, kan? You do what, I do what, you do your responsibility, I do my duty, then I pay you, then you take the money, that kind of. So there must be a transaction. So all these terms and conditions talk about this sort of transaction. And then in the event of something happen, like delay, in the event of wanting to claim money, in the event of I send material, I send my manpower to site, what they must be registered with they must be registered with SOT, EPF, that kind of thing. So it's like, it's all terms and conditions. It's about how everybody should behave, you see. So if you have an agreement that only talks about I do this, you pay me, can also. But it's not a very good contract because it doesn't tell you how you should behave, especially in the event of something happen. Okay? So especially with our industry as an engineering industry, this is not like macam pasar selling sayur. I give you $2, you give me my sayur. And that's it, I go home, I cook my sayur. And you take your money, you go and eat along me. That's it, transaction habits. That is very much day-to-day simple transaction. Yes, and that is governed also by the acts of contract acts, because this is in a way a contract also. But they are more under like consumer area, that kind of thing. But for us as engineers, it's our job, our event, the things that we do involve a lot of money. And it also involves very, very small project. We're also talking about hundreds of thousands and a few million, 1 or 2 million maybe. It's considered as a very small project. So the big project, you're talking about billions, hundreds of millions. So, and then plus that, you also handle a lot of things, a lot of events, a lot of things can happen. So the terms and conditions are very important. So for big time, your contract 60 over 1,000, very small contract. That's why they don't have much. In your agreement, there isn't much things written there. But because it's Petronas, I believe they should have something that is like much supporting. There must be terms and conditions that is actually governing whatever that they want you guys to behave and how they are paying you and all that. There should be something there. Okay.
Okay.
So these terms and conditions, in a lot of engineers, as engineers, whether you're in manufacturing, whether you are in construction, our work is very capalang, a lot of things. Ada ini, ada itu, you deal with people, you deal with material, you deal with machineries, you deal with insurance, you deal with a lot of things. So when you deal with a lot of things, the terms and conditions will start to be more and more detailed, you see. And normally, to save time, okay, to save time, we don't tailor-make every contract. We don't tailor-make every agreement, okay? We will just use a free size t-shirt. Macam you pakai t-shirt free size. So free size t-shirt means that 80% of the population can wear. Anyone as a child of 8 years old to 10 years old to grandma of 80 years old, they can wear this t-shirt, correct or not? That is the purpose of free size. When you go to shop, you buy free size. If you want to buy free size lah. Free size is general people can wear one. Unless you are super skinny, super S size, or unless you are obese, really big, then the free size t-shirt pecah. Okay, so there are two extremes that you can't wear a free size t-shirt, but mainly general people who are in the weight of 30 to 80 kilos can wear this t-shirt. So same thing here, because we also cannot tailor-made because it's a legal thing. So engineering firm, we may not have a legal team. You know, we don't have lawyers. Like, oh, the entire Unimas have one legal department. And this legal department are literally run by 1-2 person only. Can you imagine there's so many things in Unimas, there's only one legal team. So imagine if your company, how big it is, you actually have a lawyer sitting there every day? Not likely. Okay? Petronas is big, SEB is big. They would have their own external legal advisor, or they may have a lawyer in their company. And if they do have it, then these people will actually draft all the terms and conditions according to the contract. And the other thing about free size t-shirt, which is what we call a standard form of contract, is because lawyers themselves, unless you are superbly experienced in construction law, general lawyers, they know how to draft a contract, but they don't know the nitty-gritty of what is going on in a construction event, in manufacturing, or in engineering. So they cannot write the contract according to an engineering perspective, you see. Otherwise, they will keep on coming back to you and say that, they will go back to the QS branch or to the engineers. Hey, can this be like this, written like this? Then you never finish writing a contract, So that is another reason why we don't write a contract. So we leave it to people who are actually engineers to write this contract. Like JKR, like KNM, the Kebohan Architect Malaysia, like CIDD, like IEM, Institute of Engineers Malaysia. Okay, all in manufacturing in your factory, they will leave you to draft the contract. Okay, what is necessary for the production line? What is necessary for this plant, for this particular contract to supply some equipment, to supply and install some equipment. They will usually get their procurement team to do it. And the procurement team will usually have engineers on board, or they will get they will write it, and then they will get the engineers to read it through and vet it through and see what this is exactly what they want, you see. So from there, they will draft their own contract. Okay, their own terms and agreement. If the contract is also very small, that means the issues is just maybe like supply, delivery, installations, and then guarantee, warranty. So you may have a contract that is very, very simple, and they don't cover things like, or if you delay, what happened. But normally you would it's actually even a few 100,000. I'm sure they will write things like, you must supply within this period of time. If we don't supply within this period of time, we reserve the right to cancel, or we reserve the right to impose penalty, etc., etc., etc. So we do have something dealing with time also in your very simple agreement. Of course, money is there, the event of money is there, and how you claim, after a very simple agreement like I'll supply the material, and after that you provide your invoice, and from the invoice date, we will pay you in 30 days. And then after that, the defect liability or the warranty period will start. You see, these are all also, it's exactly what you're seeing in some of these contracts also. It's just that the level that is written is a lot simpler because your contract is a lot simpler, you see? Okay? So,
Okay.
yeah. This is applicable to everybody, I mean, not only Victor, because I've got people asking me, they don't understand what is contract and what is standard form. You see? Contract is the agreement. It's that particular action that you do, like lump sum contract, BQ contract, there's type of contract. Standard form and terms and conditions, they are actually the actual writing of the obligations and duties and also the rights of the parties who are actually transacting with one another in your contract, who are in this particular agreement. Okay, so you can have a lump sum contract, you can have a BQ contract, you can have a lump sum contract with JKR form or draft your own contract with your own terms and conditions. You can have your design and build, you can have your design and build contract, you can have your concessional contract. Only type, like a big umbrella, this is the type of contract. Okay? If you think of it in another, I try to think of an analogy for you. Type of contract is like you're eating, like now I'm asking you, after this, what are you guys eating? Okay, for lunch. Okay, sorry, some of you are actually in Ramadan, so I'm talking about food here. Not very good, but yeah, I can't think of any example. I'm always thinking about food anyway. So let's say if you're talking about okay, cars, okay, vehicles. Okay, if you have a vehicles, there are trucks, there are excavator, there are sedan, there are normal cars like all those cars, and then there are also SUV, is it MPV? There's a few type of car. Okay, so you see, like contract is like what type of contract is like what type of car? Are you buying an excavator, or are you buying a SUV, or are you buying a small size vehicle, or are you buying an MPV, or are you buying a normal saloon car? You see, so these are just different type of car. But when you want to buy, when you say that I'm using lump sum, maybe you're saying I'm buying an SUV. Okay, so you must have specs for the SUV gun. What are the engine size? What are the is it power window? Is it power steering? Is it manual? Is it auto? So you do have these specific terms and conditions there. Okay, and what is the make of the vehicle? That is like our scope of work. Okay, so in your BQ contract or in your lump sum contract, you also have your scope of work. So this is the scope of work. And then you talk about how this transaction will be done, correct or not? The supplier of the car must, like wash the car, clean the car, whatever, and then the getting the bank loans, and then getting the insurance, and then you hand over the car, and then the car will have how many years warranty, kan? So point onwards, it's about the agreement already. That is like a paperwork that you sign with one another to say that, okay, you must behave like this, I must behave like this. This is how we're going to do our transaction. Okay? So standard form is like that. So once you have the contract, you have the scope of work, then you talk about how you're going to be behaving with one another in the event of carrying out all these transactions, you see? So are we clear about this? There's no confusion. The word contract in procurement, there are procurement type, contract type. Contract type is just basically whether you're using lump sum, BQ, concessional, these are just contract type. But they don't tell you how people behave. They only tell you the relationship. Relationship means that, I engage you, I'm responsible for you, you engage me, I'm your boss, that kind of thing. That is only that relationship something, the picture of the relationship. Then after that, when you go in and tender, and then after that you start to have an agreement, a contract. This is really hardcore paperwork contract that you're writing. See? And in the contract itself, there is elements like offer, acceptance that must be fulfilled for you to have a valid contract. And then the other part is you must have terms and agreement. If you don't have any terms and agreement, it's not a contract, it's not valid, There's going to be a lot of issues if you go to court. If you don't have any terms, you're signing a contract that is only I buy, you sell. It's very, very difficult. So then we have to refer back to other parts of the law to address this. But if you, in a proper engineering contract, if you have a dispute, we look back in the contract because there is a lot of writing there that tells you that, okay, the contractor must do this, the supplier, the export must do this, the client must do this, and then in the event of delay, these are the reasons why you can apply for EOT, you must apply for EOT. If you don't apply, we don't have to give you EOT, It's all written there, you see. When you sign it, it means that you have read every single part of it, and then you are very clear about what you're getting yourself into. It's just like you kawan, you know, you sign a contract with your wife. Okay? So that you behave like this, like this, like this, like this. I behave like this, like this, like this. I mean, obviously we don't really have that lah, but then it's just like it's almost like a verbal contract. It's actually marriage act also. Okay? There are some people who sign pre-marriage contract. You know, like in the event of you divorce me or you have a boyfriend outside, I want to divorce you. So you cannot take any single money from me. Anak belong to siapa? You know, it's a contract, you know, that this is the terms and agreement. That both of you go into it, you masuk, you bukan budak, you know, you bukan mentally retarded, you know, you bukan minum too much arak and then cannot read, you know, and then you sign a contract. That will make a contract invalid because that is no consent, you see. So most people will sign the contract, they will open their eyes, read the terms and agreement, and they should know how they behave. So all these case studies is actually asking you all to, you know, read your own contract, go back and read your own contract, and then it could be part of it could be a standard form. Because when we write contract, like I say again and again, that it is a very long thing. It is difficult. It needs a bit of legal background, and then it should have been vetted by some legal people. And then because it's a very special thing, it's an engineering thing, you want to hand it over completely to a lawyer. They may not be able to handle a lot of terms and terminologies that you need to have in your agreement. You see, that is related to engineering. They cannot manage it. So the best is the both have to work together. Usually the engineer will draft it, the main thing they will draft it, and then the legal people will go in and they will look at the legal point of it and whether it's reasonable to have these sort of things there and whether the writing is correct. You know, then they are just to make it legally correct. If you go to dispute, there will always be two areas that they look at, technically and legally. Legally meaning the final points of law. Are you writing correctly to the final points of law, your agreement? Okay, so these two things combined, then this is your terms and conditions. So because of that difficulties, we use what we call standard form. And not everyone wants to use standard form. Okay. Like I said, some companies, they may want to draft every single agreement. Okay. But that would be a very, very costly thing to do lah. Okay. So yes, construction itself, we have a lot of standard form, many standard form. So you see people from construction like Amalina and Riley, they are very easy. They straight away go to the form and they know what is it all about already. But there are people maybe from the manufacturing or from other industry that you don't come across forms that much. So you go and have a look at the documents and see if you can find the actual terms and conditions. And you know, it may be a special written for your project, we don't know. Okay. But if it's not, then I'm sure there is, because everything is by legal transaction. There's no such thing as, you know, write on a piece of paper, you sign, I sign, and sudah jadi ini, sudah contract, you know. So there's no reason why you should be worried. Just go back to your supply contract, you know, in your company, you may have your own standard form as well, you see. Like I said, SEB, they're dealing with electrical, hydropower plant and all that. They're also dealing with a lot of things that are not construction, but they have their own standard form. They have their own standard procurement form. You go and look at the standard procurement form. Inside there, they will talk about payment delays and all this that is being covered in our assignment as well. Okay, so I hope we all can get the gist of why we use standard form, because it's really tedious, it's difficult. So therefore, we leave it to some engineers or some architect to write this thing first, and then it's being legally fine-tuned, and then it makes a standard. It becomes a front size, free size t-shirt that the terms and conditions inside there generally will cover about 80 to 90% of what is going on in every single project in Malaysia. Australia have their AS standard form. UK, they have JCT, they have NEC, there's a few as well. Singapore also, they have their own form as well. So different country, they have their own form. And Malaysia is the one that have many, 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 many forms. So we have a lot of choices, you see. And like I say, project that is done in Putrajaya, they wanted to use Putrajaya form. And SEB in Sarawak, SEB, you go to SEB, they don't use TEM form, they don't use JKR form, they don't use any of the other form, they use their own SEB form. So whenever you sign a contract with the SEB, doing whatever, you will see that they will put their own form inside it. They will ask you to, this is our terms and agreement. So as their supplier, as their contractor, you must follow the SEB one. Petronas definitely have their own form. I'm pretty sure about that. And Shell also have their own form. Also very sure about that. This sort of organization, normally they are very, like you work with us, you follow us kind of way.
Okay.
Anyone? Yes?
I share my screen.
Ken.
Dr. Ting, can I share mine? I didn't do much, but I just like.
Ken, or you want to Victor, you want to show us something first, is it?
Yeah, I just want to share the three things.
Oh, okay, Ken.
So, okay, this one is just a basic talk about my company. Then this project is the backdated one, the one already completed. So I'm just going to use one project for all the 4 case study, because all the 4 case study has related with this project. So I'm using this as a lump sum contract. So this is a basic.
Can you describe that contract more? Because I see you describing your company, I'm not really keen on. As far as I know that your company is a contractor or client or whatever company, I think that's fine. I already get the gist, so we don't spend too much time talking about your company. What we want is what you're talking about. What is your project all about? What is your contract all about? Okay? Yeah, so they are awarded this particular contract, and this contract has what sort of scope of work,
Okay.
and then the contractual particulars, maybe like what you're writing here, date of commencement, date of completion 16 weeks, okay, they are liquidated at certain dimension. Contract particulars are also supposed to be what date, how much is the contract sum, Yeah, I mean, describe and what is the contract all about, what is the scope of work.
Okay. Dr. Ting, I got this
Yeah. So this is your LAD. This is your application for extension of time, is it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, what is it that you want me to ask? Let's see. Are you still here, Natia?
Oh, sorry, I muted myself. Sorry. Okay, actually, can I just take this as a explanation for my EOT? Like I find the contract document, then after that I'll read it with this.
So, okay, after you've done your, can you go back to your report?
Okay.
Right, so after you've done your contract particular, because you're using one project for all month, correct now?
Yes.
So then you've got, give me a good gist about your project background, and then scroll down, describe the contract particular. Okay, now you are actually into the issues itself already, isn't it?
Yes.
So after you've done maybe a three, because this is actually one project. So I think you're spending a bit more time to describe the project itself is reasonable lah, huh? So
Okay.
yeah, you can have a 2 or 3 page kind of thing on the particular of the project and the contractor particular lah, huh? The sum of money, the deferred liability period, you know, the actual few things that is the part of the general thing describing that contract lah, huh?
Okay.
Project itself. Then you move in, talk about the first thing is the first case study, which is your event, okay? Your delay event, okay?
Yeah.
So you have that EOT application, correct? No?
Yes.
So what are the events leading up to application of EOT? So you need to write about what happened, the issues here. So the issues is the project actually had a delay when, you know, when did it happen, the delay, okay? And what was the reason for the delay? And when was the EOT applied? How was the EOT applied? And then what was granted, what was not granted? You can describe it, okay? In your case, because it's a past project already, so a lot of information are there, okay?
Okay.
So this
And
is the issues itself,
okay.
okay? Then the next thing is you need to talk about the clauses that is applicable. So
Okay, the clauses, can I share this document with I have this contract with me.
which form are you using, or is it just your their client contract?
This is our client, our tender document.
Which is based on what?
Based on the contract.
No, is there any form that they are basing it on, or this is actually drafted by the client themselves?
This is drafted by the client itself. Then we have the acceptance of letter. So then we will send to them that we accept this. Yeah.
Okay. So that means you use this is a specific agreement now.
Yes.
So extension of time, that is one thing there. So you need to describe the relevant.
So this, I use this clause to describe my EOT. Is that correct?
What about, is there any clauses on delay?
No, that's all. Only clause 19 is what, in case of any delay or what, then we have to write notice, the cause of delay and all.
Okay. So that means in your agreement, there's only one of these clauses that is applicable.
Yes, correct. In this agreement, they only wrote for extension of time, only this is given. Yeah.
Did they ask you to, is there any clauses that talk about submission of schedules? That any clauses on
Yes, yeah. Clauses 19, number 2, they say that trade contractor shall submit to the revised program of approval within 14 days on the date. Notify the extension or the resumption.
No schedule? Do you have any clauses on must submit a schedule?
Sorry, doctor?
Any clauses on submission of schedule, like just the original schedule?
Yes, I have also actually. It's above.
Yeah, so these are all the related clauses. So Natia, you don't just focus on the EOT clauses. All that is time related, you have to look at.
Yes, I have that time work contract. That
Program, did they ask you to submit any working program in the first place?
yes.
Commencement, commission, all the related clauses, yeah. It's just a copy of, basically, I think it's a copy of PWD lah, and also JKL.
Okay.
Maybe 5 on there actually.
This is trade contractor design something.
Design, no, design you don't have to, yeah. I mean, like, is there, the reason why I don't want you to just zoom in and look at EOT, because overall you need to look at all the time related clauses in in that sense. You know, if there's no clauses regarding commencement and also completion, then how do you say that this is delay? You see, if there's no working
Yeah.
program in the first place, then how do you know that your work is in delay?
Yes, they have actually, because this is the volume 4, volume 1 of 4. So I got so many volumes that I need to look.
So you just have to extract out all the clauses, okay?
Okay.
The number 11 contract sum later on you'll be using for case 32.
Yes.
So you think of all
Okay.
these relevant clauses. I've already given you examples in the notes, like what are the relevant clauses, you see. So in JKR, so if you look back into my notes, then in
Okay.
those kind of those are the headings typical. So you read the notes and then you go and look at your phone contract are going to be the relevant clauses that will be dealing with EOT and delays.
Okay, can doctor.
So what you do is then after that you describe your clauses. Maybe like I say, you can describe it clause this issue will be dealt with by this clauses. Clause 19, what is it about? Clause whatever is what is it about? Clause 20, what is it all about? You know, so you basically list contract, you just list down like what are the clauses that are relevant and you describe those clauses. What these clauses has is it? This clauses has a few components. It has reasons for delays, it has reason for application and the procedures for applications and all. Yeah, you just have to sort of summarize what is in the clauses, because if you want to go to detail every single thing about the clauses, so to write it in that section, it would be very long, you see. So I would prefer
All right.
leaving the actual contract maybe in the appendix later on.
Okay, doctor, can.
So you write about what this clauses is all about, and then how does the clause actually address the issue? Meaning that, so in the event, what happened in the contract now is this delay actually happened. So by looking at clause, let's say 2, that is dealing with working program, because working program was submitted early on as a commitment to the project. See, then the event that actually occur will actually lengthen the time, you see, and it is one of the critical event or not critical event, and would it actually, does it run concurrently with the rest of the other delay event, you know? So you need to describe that, and then how the contract actually addresses it. So now the contract says that, clause 19 says that these are the reasons. So therefore, in your case, because this happens, this particular event happens, it actually fulfills this part of the clause, you see. And the clause says that we can apply for EOT because these are the reasons, you see. And after the assessments, and after that, the EOT will be assessed by who, you see.
Okay, doctor. Okay, noted, doctor. Thank you.
You understand? I mean, I'm sort of guiding you through how to write the report. It's the same as everybody else. I mean, by looking at your flow of thought, like Riley, Amalina, you all have your own specific flow. I mean, it's okay. See? So I'm actually trying to see your flow and try to go from your flow kind of perspective and still fulfilling the assignment's requirement. So now that the most important part that I see that a lot of you are missing is like this. You describe the event. Some of you don't really describe the event, you see, and then you just went like, oh, delay happened, and then you full stop already, and then you start to write about the clauses. So you must describe the issue, okay, what happened. Then after that, like Tina, your case, because you've already got a document, so it's actually very easy for your storytelling, you see. You already know what happened, what was the reason, what was the date of that granted or not granted and all that. So your thing is actually simpler already in that sense, because it's there, you see. So to create that, to write that issues is simpler that way because you already know what happened. Okay. Some of you, you may be using an ongoing example, so then the case is not resolved yet. Does that mean that it's difficult to write? It's also easy because then you can, in your way to overcome, you can write your ways to overcome. For Natia case, it's already more constricted because it's already overcome. So then she needs to refer back to the clauses and see whether that thing is actually done correctly or not. When the EOT is granted, the time that is granted, is it reasonable based on the contract? And then you can go and write in that perspective, Natia. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
So for Riley, Amalina, because I've seen your work now, I mean like yesterday and just now, so I can see that, you know, maybe the event is not fully completed yet, you see. So you can actually write recommendations according to the contract of how these issues can be handled. Also simple, that is also easy, isn't it? Okay. So you guys get the gap, Riley and Marlena. Yes. Wait, Lana.
Yeah. Can I show mine because I have some questions to ask?
You hold on a little while. Yeah. So Riley, Amalina, you are clear. Riley.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. So you have to know, I mean, like in your case, maybe you can write like the way forward. Like now that this event happened, contractually, it should be handled like this, like this, like this. So that could be your way to overcome the problem, right?
Okay. Sorry, doctor, I just want to add regarding the EOT and LED, right? The related one. Okay, in the event that the contractor has been awarded of the EOT, so they will not will be penalized by LED, right? So how are we going to relate with these two clauses?
Basically, would you recommend the EOT to be granted, for example? You see, so your delay has happened. The contractors they follow the procedures according to the contract to apply properly. And how was it assessed? You know, if you look back at the contract, is there any way that specifically they require the SPO to assess it correctly? Okay, any way of assessing it? Because I know PWD form they are more specific about all these things, current delay and all that kind of thing. So you need to read through your clauses. Maybe there is a way to assess. So then you have to recommend that the assessment to be done in what way. So after that, the EOT is granted. So when EOT is granted or not granted after the assessments, okay, if it's granted, that means what happens to the completion time. So you refer to the completion time in their clauses and see where the completion time will be extended now. Okay. So if it's not granted, then upon the completion time, if any days that the project is running into the delay and is not covered under the extended time, then the LOD will start to be penalized out. It will start to be activated. Does that answer your question, or am I not getting what you are trying to ask me?
Yes, correct. I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you
Thank you, doctor.
let's say for your project case, because the event itself is not granted, it's not in the category, so therefore that particular EOT is not granted. Or after you look at the event, yes, you can grant this as an excusable delay. Okay, it is a compensable excusable delay. Then you look at whether it's critical activity or not critical activity, and then whether you look at it's concurrent or not concurrent activity. Then maybe you don't grant because of procedures. Yeah. There are a few reasons you don't grant. One is the event itself is not under the category of granting. The other one is the procedures are meaning that this is actually a concurrent delay, meaning that you've already granted one of 30 days for that event. And this event is just part of the other event, you see. So then you realize that you cannot grant for this particular event, so it was rejected. Okay, so then you recommend for rejection based on the contract. You see, everything is based on the contract. Okay, so those of you who are actually writing that of how to handle it is actually based on the contract. Okay, so based on the contract, this is not allowed. So it's not granted, and therefore the time is not going to be extended beyond what? 30th of April. So if then you go to the LAD closes. In the event that the time is going over the extended period, LAD will be applicable. And how would it be applicable? You must explain that in your way to overcome the problem. Okay? Right, so I think that one is quite clear for the two of you. The one that I see, because for Riley and Amanda, the one that I see from you is basically you guys are still, the project is still ongoing. You're not so sure about, let's say, how to handle it. So for that Natia case, is like it's already there. The event is already there. It's already completed, and it was handled in a specific way. So your way of writing will probably be like commenting back on the contract how it was handled, how well it was handled, how correctly it was handled. Maybe it should be granted, but how come it's not granted, you see? And you can write in that perspective. Understand? Okay, so I know now, Fazana and Clarence. Fazana, what do you want to say?
Okay, regarding the introduction, right? What we supposed to discuss, or doctor? Because
the introduction of the assignment, what is the paper, what this paper is all about,
because here I put my my background is regarding the projects, so the introduction should be about the assignment lah. Okay.
This report deals with what? What is the aim or objective of this report?
Okay.
What is the outcome of this report? What do you aim to do with this report? And this report will cover how many projects, issue that is regarding the contract issues that have already occurred in those projects.
I see.
Introduction of the assignment of the case study.
Okay.
This
And
paper,
then, yeah. Okay, so here I already explained on the issues. This is about the contractor is unable to access the site.
Okay,
Yes.
this is very interesting.
Yeah.
Site possession.
Yes, site possession. And then here is the comment that you have commented on others just now. So I added this one because I haven't described about the form of contract.
All right.
Okay. And then for this obligation and rights.
You've already picked up site possession, huh?
Sorry,
you
doctor?
pick up post-13 site possession, huh?
Yes.
I think you also should be picking up things like start date, start date and completion date also, and that will be related to the site possession, you see. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy that you can actually see that this everybody now tells me it's an EOT kind of closes, but now you are one person that you know that you are actually talking about site possession, and this clause is definitely going to be applicable on site possession, and it's related to time of completion time and start time. You see, so the other two clauses that are related will be start time and completion time, and then maybe EOT. You see, yeah.
All right.
So you describe just like what you do now, what this clause is all about. Okay. Now you go to just like whatever you're doing here is good. Just describe like what this clause is talking about, A summary of the clause, basically, yeah. Then you move on to section 5. What is it in section 5 that you're looking at?
Okay, here, this one is I'm not really sure, doctor, regarding the obligations and right of all the parties.
Okay, this one when you start from this point, like I mentioned to the others one, should be related to the event itself already. So because of this site possession event that is happening in your contract, for this particular clause, what was the right of the contractor, what was the obligation of the contractor and all that. So you're writing from that perspective already. So from that point onwards, it's not about generally talking about the clause. It's about how you are actually combining the clause with the event already.
Mm. So is this one is more to general suggestions, or is just it have to related to the clause?
Related to the clause already.
Related to the clause, okay.
If it's general, then you might as well put it up in your section 4, because section 4 is generally what this clause is all about. Ma?
Yes. Okay.
So this event of site possession that has occurred, how should the clause be? What did the clause say? Okay, the clause actually mentioned that this event of site possession that was delayed must be handled like this. The contractor must do this, the whatever must do this. It's actually related to the clause already, to the event already, to what happened to the event. So when you write this part here, everyone's the same. When you write this sort of things, you must relate it back to that event already. Don't just go for general. Inside possession, the contractor is going to is obligated like this. If it's his duty to this. Like you're describing it generally. No, you need to write according to the event.
I see. Okay. All right.
So it's like maybe it's like a storytelling of from the beginning to the end, the issue of the event with the clauses, like relating that back to the clauses or what should be done. You see. So the delay of 40 days actually occurred before the actual site possession was given, for example. And then this, then you just mentioned that this is gonna be not that this is gonna be like so then this indicates that the project has already run into its first delay event. And this would be handled by clause 13, which obligates the contractor to actually apply a formal extension of time. Okay?
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
And then for the proposal to overcome the problems and issues, for this project, right, Doctor, the clients already give the compensation. So is that one of the ways to overcome the problems? Can I put that one?
Yeah, I mean like just the upper bit you write what should be done, what should have been done. Okay?
Yeah.
So this proposal to overcome it can actually be combined with whatever is written up there. You don't really have to have a specific section, but you must have a specific paragraph, which means the outcome of the event. You see, so if like some people they may do recommendations because their issue is not resolved yet. See? And some people like Natia just now maybe like they have to comment like maybe it's not well done or whether it's done quite well, so this should be the way that it's carried out. So like I mean, depending on your case, you can actually extension of time is granted and compensation is granted, for example. So it's not necessarily a proposal to overcome. See, it's like yeah, you don't really have to stick to that title in that sense, huh?
Okay.
Or it could be the solution, or it could be the proposal means that you are actually giving a recommendation kind of thing.
Oh, I see. So this one, we can give suggestion also, Doctor?
Yes,
For
yes.
the,
Yes.
okay, get it. Okay.
Suggestions, so like maybe you feel like certain things the compensation wasn't enough, or there should be this like this, something. I don't know. You can think about something. I mean, like not necessary. You don't have to force it. Everything has to be natural. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I think that's all for me.
Conclusion is just, I mean, if you're gonna have like some of you don't use the word conclusion until you come to the very, very end of the report. Okay. So I think for most of your case studies, the last section would be the solutions or the proposal to overcome, or the recommendations, or the comments on solution or the improvement to be made. These sort of things that is on 6. So once it is done, you either have a short summary So you have a summary of case study. So don't go for conclusion. Conclusion is always at the very, very end where you have an introduction and a conclusion. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You're okay, Farzana?
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
No problem. Looks like you're okay. Okay, Clarence?
Hi, Doctor. Let me show my assignment.
Then you share your screen. What project are you doing?
Project under state Brok Royat do the let me see. Okay. Wrong.
How come open one?
Okay, then say this one. Okay. Introduction to the project builds a cement wall at Brok Royat work operation. This introduction.
Okay, so your background of project is background of project, huh? So
Okay.
introduction, I've already mentioned to the rest, you know what to do, huh?
Yeah. And then this one
Contract
is
use, yeah, okay, you have a contract use that is good 1.3. The relevant clauses, okay, that's fine. That looks okay to me.
so
Down.
the
Yeah.
the one is the
Don't write too much on the clauses, because just the summary of the clauses will do. You're writing the clauses itself already.
okay noted.
So you're
So
requesting your page, okay.
okay, and then the one is
Don't use the word I also. Just write like it was found that,
oh, because I thought that the one is a report from me.
No. In
Ah.
any report, you normally don't write things like we are, I are,
So just skip it.
It's the way you write. Don't write I found that, kind of thing.
Okay.
Project manager, I find it. No. You just say that, the team or the contract team or, your.
Generally just generally. Okay. Okay, the one
Yeah,
is
I mean, like the event is what? The event is they cannot provide the break, is it, or what? What was the issue again?
so the one is delay lah.
Delay what? What event delay? Why? What causes the delay?
The cause of delay such as lack of capital delay is this one at the 1.2 problem statement down.
So you have to be very specific. What is the event? What is the problem here?
Okay, put under which part better?
Under the problem statement, I mean, like you are the causes of delay. Are you going to talk about all the causes of delays, or are you going to be specifying on one of the delays?
Okay. Just select one lah.
You talk about lack of capital. That means it's going to be a big issue here. Delay in receiving payments is going to be a huge issue that you're going to be talking about payment as well in this particular case study.
Okay.
Maybe delay in receiving endorsement or approval of work that is actually related to standing instructions and all that. That's another thing.
Okay.
You cannot just say that, okay, my delay happened. These are all the causes, and I will handle all this like this. No, I'm talking about a very specific event here.
Okay.
You have to go for a very specific event. What happened to this time, this date? What happened? Was it because of material wasn't supplied, or there was a delay because of MCO or whatever? It's very specific one, the issue.
So select the one of the issue lah, Doctor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then how long was the delay? What happened? What actually happened leading up to the event? Describe that event of delay.
But the one that I already mentioned that the 1.2 lah.
Yes, you can write 1.2 the problem statement can, or the issues, the delay event also can.
So this one is I need to
be specific, Be specific about that delay, yeah. You can write generally, you can write generally like what I said to Riley also, but the way that you write, you have to be very careful because if let's say many things, I mean, if it's almost the same thing that is related to that kind of delays, I mean, that delays is almost the same thing like weather, like flooding, like the event is quite similar, then you can write everything together. But you're here, you macam like ada 7, 6, 4, 5, 7 different kind of issues, which must be also handled by different clauses. Then you don't write like that, It's not that you cannot write like that. You can. Tapi, I don't think you can handle it.
Betul.
Yeah.
Just select one. Okay.
So
Just
then
select.
this event, how the is handled by this PWB Form 203A, okay? And then the related clauses, you've already pointed out all the related clauses, but you've actually copied all the clauses into here, which I don't want to see. You can put it in appendix. So the related clauses are what?
Okay.
Then how you manage it?
And then this one Doctor number 3 liquidated extension dummy. Since the project the contractor facing the problem, and then the contractor read the notice before the TOT. How to solve this problem later?
Are you going to penalize them or not?
I don't know how to explain. Actually, since the liquid close LED
No,
close important.
LED only apply if no extension of time is given.
Okay. So before
the project is, you yourself already right here, but the project is not handed over within the time frame.
Okay.
So this event really delayed until no extension of time is given, is it?
No. The one just I mentioned it 1 month before due date.
So is it given or not given? That is why I cannot comment because you're not giving me a specific issue here.
Okay. So this means
So was extension of time granted?
Okay. So I put later.
LAD clauses only applicable if extension of time is not granted, and then the event actually the project date was actually extended.
Oh, okay.
So not all the clauses, not all your project here must put LAD as one of the clauses,
Oh.
Noted everyone, not everything LAD, So meaning that if let's say I have the delay happen and I was granted extension of time. From 1st of April, my finishing date, I was granted 30 days up to 30th of April. So within this time, there's no LAD. Even I work up until 15th of April, 16th of April, 17th of April, all the way up to 30th of April, I'm still good, you see, as a contractor. Okay. Then if they go beyond this time, granted EOT and still go beyond this time, then every day, every week is being charged LAD. Then baru applicable LAD.
Oh. Okay, noted. Okay.
You have to read my notes carefully. What is LAD? I explained that last week. What is LAD? So not LAD, definitely not like everything almost LAD. Kalau dia delay, I LAD him. No, LAD is only applicable. It's liquidated a certain damage. That is only applicable when the project, you yourself right here, not handed over within the stipulated time frame. And that stipulated time frame can include extension of time that was given.
Oh, okay, noted. Okay.
So it's only in the event of completion time when the contractor hit over the completion time, then you are applying LAD. Kalau dia tidak apply for extension of time, and then if they went over the time, then automatically the contract will start to impose LAD for the contractor already.
Okay.
LAD is also stated in the contract. You have to look at your contract belakang sana or depan sana, what is the LAD amount also. It can be
Okay.
5,000 a day, it can be 2,000 a day, it can be 2,000 a week, you know.
Okay. This mean depend on the project lah, basis lah, Doctor.
Yeah. On the project basis, it is not fixed one.
Okay. So number 4 is obligation of contractor.
This obligation of contractor, like I explained to Fazana just now, you have to write in perspective with the issue, the event.
So this one. Okay. So this clause sequence 1 related to the obligation of contractor. Then
So is this clause really applicable to your issue?
yeah, this one.
How do you know? Can you tell me what was the issue that you've chosen, you see?
Okay. So need to mention more lah, Doctor.
You need to mention about your issue because I don't know your issue.
Oh.
You are writing very general. You are throwing in all the clauses in the contract and say all these are applicable, but I don't even see your issue, you see?
Okay.
If you show me the issue, if the issue is the contractor is being lazy, if the contractor is not doing due diligence, then this clause will be applicable. If there's a shortage of material is your issue, and that shortage of material is due to transportation, because of COVID, then this clause is not applicable, kan?
Yeah, betul. Okay.
And then you have to refer back to the EOT clauses. The reason is maybe unforeseen events such as natural force majeure like pandemic. Then that is under there.
Okay.
So that's why, like I say, you are too general already. That means the whole contract will apply. You 50 page pun dia dapat habis.
Ya, betul. So difficult to fulfill 7 pages.
Yeah. So it's like if let's say the contractor has been lazy, they haven't been doing their job after being given warning many times, they haven't been doing their job. Then this clause will apply because the contractor must work with due diligence. You see? And therefore,
be specific lah, Doctor.
Yeah, be very specific. Yes.
Okay.
All the clauses have to be related to the event itself, ladies and gentlemen. Don't just write like suka-suka hati, you write everything. Of course, the whole contract is applicable, you see. So different things are handled differently. Like let's say just now you said you got payment issue. That means this clauses is not applicable.
Okay.
Because you see, in JKR form and PWB form, the client not pay the contractor on time due to delay of payment. None of the clauses actually handle it, So you cannot say that I delay because you late pay me. Then you will not find any of the contract clauses here that actually tells you what to do. Because from the perspective of the contract, delay is delay, time, money is money. You tak bayar I tidak mau pergi site, itu salah saya, bukan salah you not pay me,
Separate issue lah, Doctor.
Separate issue, yes.
Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Go through number 5. Proposal to overcome problem. This one.
Again, it has to be based on your event. Kalau you tak dapat tengok event, you don't simply like write like, I have to give better monitoring work and all that. If the issue really monitoring that issue, you see?
Okay, later on I do the specific issue, and then I go through to the proposal to overcome the problem later. Okay.
I think you're fine. I mean, like you are kind of managing it, but then I think you just went on a very this is a case study. Case study is very specific issues. So you are going on a very general mode here.
Yeah, then go to the surface line. So deeply now. Okay, Doctor, thank you, Doctor. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Clarence.
Okay,
At least
thank
we
you.
started already lah. At least we know where your problem is, huh?
Yeah, doctor. Need to doctor to review this case study.
Okay, and Amira just now was raising your hands. Amira,
Hello, good morning, doctor.
yes.
Can I share what I've done so far? But
Clarence, and share first. Then Amira share.
Okay, sorry, doctor.
I'm not really confident of my work, so I think I need some advice.
This is the point of the whole session, you see.
Sorry. So I'm doing basically about the Batang Rambungan Bridge, which is located in Lunduk. This is my introduction. But I think the introduction is wrong because I think I have to specifically say about why I am doing this introduction of the case study and the aim, objective, and significance. Later, I will change this part. So for the background is this is just the explanation of the bridge in detail, like how the length of it, how long it is, and how many piers it has. So for the related contractual issues is the EOT is because of the MCO. So I found a news article that says that the progress is also only 11% compared to the schedule, which is supposed to be 32.7% due to the MCO. But they are still eligible to get EOT.
So your issue, this is not your own company issue, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not my own company. I just generally search it in the internet. That's why yeah.
Are not working, is it? Are you? Or
I'm not in construction company.
what company are you in?
Pertama Ferroalloys, manufacturing.
Manufacturing. Do you have any supply contract or anything like that? You don't have to do construction, Amira. Because I'm more worried that this is not your area, and then you go and do all these things, and then end up like not uh not really be able to handle it at all. You see.
Okay.
So do you need to do something related to your own work?
I have one contract, but then I don't think it's from any standard form. But I plan to use that on my third case study, the third case study for this assignment.
Is there any of building with the plants or anything to do with supply of some materials anything like that in that in the contract that you have in your company at the moment?
Right now I have was for services, more to auxiliary services.
Services okay also if you want any
But
anything on delays?
yeah, they could specify some delays. For example, like if the machineries do not arrive, or if there's any contaminations on the finished goods, something.
Yeah, use that lor. Let's say you have an event that there was a contract delay. You are supplying. You are looking at supplier to you or you to some client.
Contractor to provide us with the auxiliaries machineries.
Okay.
For example, excavator, shovels,
So you are the
and dump trucks. We are the
client,
users, the hirer.
the hirer. So for that kind of contract is right.
So this one, how about this one? Is it not valid because I'm not in construction?
Exactly. You do things that you are familiar with. You don't do things that you're not familiar with. So I wouldn't use this example if I were you. Because first, you don't have a proper event. And first, you don't have background in construction. So some of the clauses here that you may not understand. You see?
How about the clauses that I used here, Doctor? Is it like I said like I think what is relevant?
Yeah, you are.
For this one, I would say it's like by force majeure. And then
What do you mean?
completion of.
I mean, like for this particular event that you have in construction, yeah, these are the related clauses, correct? There's nothing wrong with that, yeah. But my question to you is, why do you want to write this? You see, because you're not from this area. I prefer you to write in your own area. As a client, you are actually hiring services or hiring machineries or hiring whatever from the external people. Take one of the issue there and then write about the delays there and then refer to the contract in your own contract. You see, it's a lot simpler. And then there's a lot of people in the office, in the procurement side that you may ask.
Okay. Let me just I think show the handbook. It's called a handbook for this. I don't know if I can actually share this thing. Okay, so this is the KPI or downtime that we will observe to actually measure how the service provider. So downtime for the machines, idling without reasonable excuse, wire mesh adjustments. So if they delay in anything, I would think it's like relocation of mobile screeners, and then there's also the penalty here already stated.
To the next there you go already. Why is it so difficult? This is a bit easy, isn't it?
But this I'm afraid this is not how do you say it? This is not, there's no standard form for this. This is just a contract that
Did you understand? I was talking about this for the whole morning, Do you hear what I was saying? Not everything has to be by standard form.
Oh.
Standard form, just that when in construction especially, and in some of the other maybe very complicated kind of transaction, because we don't want to employ too much of legal expertise into the contract, we just get a standard form that is related, and then it's easier that way. It's more time saving, money saving, and all that. And I've already said many times that many companies have their own agreement. It is a contract. It doesn't matter whether it's standard form or no standard form. If a contract is a contract.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
You have a contract here. You have terms and conditions here. Okay?
Okay.
Follow that.
So can I use that contract for all of the cases?
Can. But you must
Okay.
describe your cases, like for example, when is this supplier was engaged, and then during what time they had this problem, these issues, and then how was it handled based on your contract with them. These are the terms and conditions.
Amendment. What is the meaning of amendment in the scope of works here?
Variation, meaning that at first you want this, you tell them that these are required, this machinery, these specifications are required and all that. And then maybe they cannot provide car, or they want to give alternative car. This can be an amendment to the scope of work.
So it actually happens currently because this contract is currently enforced. It's just recently enforced. So there's some adjustments to the machineries, that how many units of machineries are required. So is that like considered also for amendment of scope of works?
Yes.
Because they find it using shovels is not enough. They probably need excavator, because excavator has like longer arms to reach certain parts of the SFGs, semi-finished goods.
Was the contract signed already?
The contract is signed already.
Yeah, and now you are changing in the requirement then.
Yes.
Yes, that is considered as amendment.
Okay. Okay. 1st of April. Yes.
Is there any clauses here to handle these sort of things?
There is. For example, if we have casting beds. Right now, we can only use only a shovel to use it, but now because we cannot reach to the
Amira,
further end.
that is your problem. That is already the problem. Okay, you describe the problem. Now I'm asking you whether the contract itself have any procedures or have any clauses that tells you that if you want the contractor to change, what should you do?
I think I have to see.
Huh? Let's have a look at that. Okay, so if there's a changes, work, the one you're describing to me, that's fine. You just write, because that is the amendment, the shovel arm cannot reach, that you want the contractor to bring in another one or another event, and that incurs other, that would incur extra costs and all that. So is there any way of handling this? That's what I'm asking in your contract.
I have to read through again and see.
Okay, so if let's say the contract says that in the event that the client requires additional work or additional parts, additional machineries, the contractor is to quote and then get approval, and then formally change. You see, then you need to provide a change order. There must be procedures like that. If it is not stated in the contract, then you may have to refer to your procurement office, because there may be some standard procedures that all your supplier knows, Then you can use that standard procedure. It's not stated, then you say that it's not stated in your contract lah.
Okay. Thank you.
So the amendments, yes, you are telling me the story of what is changing. That is good, because that is the issue. You see, that is the story behind the event. You write it down, okay? But then the other part of the assignment is how you handle it, bah?
Okay.
So does the contract have any clauses that handle these sort of things, you see? Then I think there's other parts there. Can you show me your other parts, like case 3 and case 4? Maybe I explain it to you based on this, and that may help with other people who don't really have standard forms, you see?
Okay.
Your case study, the individual assignment, the last file. So let's say testing report. Now, do you have any problem, like let's say, do you have any event that deals with this, like the non-compliances, any non-compliances, the thing comes and is not complying,
Yes, there is. For example, when they change the wire mesh, we only give them 1 day for them to change the wire mesh of the screening machine. So when they are unable to do it, then they are penalized. There's penalty for it.
The work 1 day I'm talking about is becoming your delay already, but this is testing the actual material.
Testing with.
Macam like, let's say you require for wire mesh or what size, or what standard, but then they come out and give you another thing, you see? It's not delays in days, Here we're talking about the actual materials or the actual machines or the actual workmanship, maybe. They're supposed to install it. They're supposed to install it in this method, but then they didn't. They do something else, you see?
Okay.
Then cause a breakdown, or a breakdown happened, and then you found out that the materials was not up to standard, or the machine that they use is salah, or the things that their supply is wrong, you see? These are talking about these sort of things. Does the contract have any does your contract have any clauses that deals with this? That means that the quality is not fulfilled. So how do you penalize them, or do you ask them to send it back, and bring in a new one within 7 days, that kind of thing? Or you accept the new material, but you deduct the money, kind of thing? Penalty for material contamination. Basically, these are the clauses, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Due to contamination factor, so is there anything that is contaminated, but they didn't do the work accordingly, maybe?
I think like if they don't wash their machineries, for example, then they would contaminate when they do another product.
Okay, boleh. But this is about cost incurred by the contractor. Is there any more specific way of managing it or writing it, So if there's not written here, you say it's not written here, but you can suggest
Is this like LED, like all of this, like in terms of this contract, a doctor?
General penalties. Actually, they are actually giving you some scenarios already here. So some of these scenarios actually your scenario sama juga actually. So use back this contract, Amira.
Okay.
Don't go and do construction. You're not here to change.
Okay.
Don't be because you think that is easier, and it's not, because it's not in your area. There's a lot
Okay.
here. You see, I can say that this is quite a complete contract. I'm sure a lot of things can be covered here. You just have to read through it very carefully.
Okay.
And we will discuss some more when your event is more clear in that sense,
Explain on.
Email me also. Okay.
How about case study 4? Do you mind to explain this one? Sorry.
This is about money law, meaning that your contractor, when they finish do you have any clauses that deals with paying them? It's about
Payment
invoicing.
rental.
It's about invoicing. They have to give like interim claims. It's an invoice like that. They claim. Do you get them to make a claim?
Yes, they will submit like how many hours the machine's working, and then we pay them
Yes.
per monthly.
So you pay them, yeah. So then how you pay them, and then what does the contract say about payment to your contractor? That is what this is all about. So do you require them to have a specific way of claiming, specific format?
They must show proof, something like that. Like if, for example, if their tire punctured, they have to take can be an example, doctor?
Can. Overall, or you can talk about it overall, how is the payment made? Look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Problem. Victor, I come back to you now. Just now you want to show me something, right? So, yeah. Would you like to show me something? I think after this we are done already with the assignment. Yeah. I think everybody is pretty much clear about what they want to do. Design, gone already. Victor, calling Victor.
Yes, doctor.
Just now you want to show me something, right?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Are we clear, Victor? Did you hear what I talked to Amira about?
Yes, yes, doctor.
So you don't worry if you don't have a standard form. You go and look at your contract. I'm sure there are a lot of things that is covered in your contract, so you follow that accordingly.
Okay, doctor. Okay.
But if you do have a standard form, we use a standard form. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions that you all want me to go through with you? I can spend another 15 minutes maybe. Yeah. You have to be clear. Don't be shy. I know sometimes I am a bit more, I'm naturally a more impatient kind of person. So I kind of like, talk very fast and, push the issues and all that. I'm quite pushy as well. So yeah, but definitely I don't meant it to be anything that is bad or, like insulting or anything that is not good for you all. Don't take it to your heart. Whatever I say here, whether I say in a very urgent tone or scolding tone or whatever, you just take it as we're all trying to get good marks here, okay? Thank you, Clarence. Thank you, Riley. Yeah, I mean, like we do want to, and then we will keep on doing this until the end of the semester, just to make sure that all your assignments are almost near perfect kind of thing, Yeah. And I'm sure now that you hear me commenting on each other's work, you get even a better idea. This is only the starting, Only it's the first case study. It will get easier, First case study, now we detect some of your problems, some of your understanding, It's like that, Clarence. I mean, no experience does not mean that this is learning. You're learning things. It doesn't have to be you must be experienced. Now you either experience, you can't learn much also, you see. So it's good that you don't have experience, you're learning new things. And then in the future with this degree, when you come into event like this, you guys are more flexible in terms of handling things. And like example, Riley and Nakia, you all are, more in the QS construction, Amalina, then it's actually very, you are not scared of contract anymore. You are quite happy to read the contract and learn about what is in the contract. And Amira, like that, first time you come into contract, like this, then you go through all the clauses, then you realize that, ada ini, wow, you actually learn, you see. Yeah, and Fazana too, you are in construction. So I think it's a lot of engineers are very scared. They don't want to read the contract. They don't know how to handle the contract. They don't like the language that is being put in a contract. But unfortunately, it is our role and duty to manage and administer the contract. So it is very important for us to not be scared about it and just go ahead and manage it accordingly. There are certain things that you have to leave to professionals. When it comes to dispute already, you don't simply take all the clauses and throw into each other's face and say that you must follow this and follow that and all that. See, so everything must be within reason as an administrator. So there are certain things, if it's a final point in law, you leave it to lawyers to handle. But if it's dealing with the technical details, with the technical events and things that are more on the site, more on the workplace, that is dealt by engineers, okay? And you follow the contract accordingly. You do your duties accordingly. A lot of times, the contract was made invalid because the administrator themselves are not following the contract.
Doctor, sorry. Doctor, can I have a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, anyway, thank you for your advice and guidance, previously, Doctor. I just wanted to ask on the case study number 4, which is related to the payment, right? Yeah, okay. We'll talk about the payment issue. Is it related to the how the duration of the payment made by the employers? Is it included on the contractual? Is this what you mean in this case study?
I have my notes later on. You will hear that the different claims and interim and certificate payments and all that. If you listen to the class later after you finish, after I post it out, I'll inform everybody. So you listen to it, then you start to be able to paste it in the voila. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Just to share, because I'm I mean, I'm not sure. Based on my previous experience, I don't really how to say experience this payment issue lah. Because like practically, even if we how to say overlap the debt for the payment, but still we still work on it lah. Yeah. So that I'm not really sure how to on the application of this how to say case study in the real life lah. Yeah.
You need
Okay.
to
Thank you, Doctor.
apply with payment. Actually, you need to apply strictly. You know what's stated in the contract. Okay. So basically, if the contract states that the contractor needs to supply with the claims, then you must expect the claim. Okay. And then when they claim, the SO must the contract manager must actually assess the claim. Okay, on the work done, like Amira, like that, you probably need to go to the to look at all the proof, the claims, the proof, and the submission. You see, so then after that, submit. Then you submit. You make a certificate and then confirm on the claim. Okay, and then the client will pay on which day, which date, which is stated in the contract. Actually, that question is just basically asking you to tell me how your project or how your company handle payment in contract. That's all. Issues with payments deal with non-payment, delay in payment. So if you really do have that sort of issues in your project, let's say that as a contractor, let's say from a perspective of a contractor, like some of you here are from contractor perspective, like Tia, okay? And just now, who else is from the contractor perspective? Was it Fazana? I don't remember which one. So if let's say you are from a contractor perspective, you have the issue here is your payment has been delayed. Okay? So how long has it been delayed? Why was it being delayed? So you refer back to the contract and tell us what should have been the right way of managing this. So have you submitted the claim? If the claim has been submitted, was it accordingly to the format? The SO didn't do a proper assessment? Did they issue a certificate? Did they follow the contract? So there is two ways of writing. You see, one way is really from the issues itself, like delays. Like I'm going to talk about that in the lecture. You see, the lecture that is dealing with the issues and the causes for payment issues. The payment issue doesn't run away from few things only. Not enough. They don't pay you enough. They don't pay you. They late pay you. Okay. So if the payment of this issue, your contract is perfect, no such thing of the issue, then you write this case study based on how payment is being handled from your contract. So there will be clauses on certificates, claims, and also payment. I think there's a few things here. And unfortunately, none of the contract standard form actually tells you that if you have delay, the client don't pay you, what you can do. So that is how unfair it is. But some private contract, maybe you look at Amira contract, maybe you will see that if the client delay, then the contractor can charge interest. For government project, that is almost impossible. They will not write PWD form, JKR form, none of this form, they will actually write that, oh, if I don't pay you, you can charge me interest. Zero. So this will actually, if there's a big delay in payment or non-payment, your contract actually, especially standard form of contract that is like dealing with government agency or a lot of private agency, there's no way that you can actually do anything about it based on the contract. So then this will have to be escalated into another level, which is proper, like into a legal kind of level already. You may need to get lawyers to come in and try to claim the losses and the payment from your client. You may get sued for not paying people. Actually, it's wrong not to pay. But unfortunately, standard form is in such a way that it's written most of the time to cite the client. And even if the SO delay, the assessor delay ka, or the payment was delayed ka, many times the contractors are actually on the losing end. That is the issues that you can talk about that if you want to, but it will be a very, very big issue. It will be a very interesting issue to argue about on what to do, you know. But almost I can tell you that none of the contract actually do that. But a lot of private ones would actually like let's say, yeah, FIDIC, PAM, oh, they're all the same. I mean, it's written by authoritative body for mainly is for the client. Like if you go for Petronas Jari Gali one, sure they will tell you that they will tell you that, you know, they don't tell you that, they don't cover things like that. But CIDB one ada. CIDB one is a little bit better. I think CIDB, there are some clauses that deals with delay in payments. And that's why CIDB contract has a payment bond. It actually helps to protect the contractor if the client don't pay. Okay? So is your issue here, is one of the issue here non-payment, delay in payment? So let's say if Riley, you want to talk about delay in payment, is also okay. You said that, you know, from your perspective, are you working for government or are you working for private?
I work for private as an PMC lah, which is supporting the JKS previously lah. This is my previous project.
Yeah. So that means that you know, do you see any delays in payment all the time?
Yes, normally SFS, right, our State Financial Secretary, they always delay in payment to the contractor lah, which is not follow the formal contract. That's what I experienced before lah. Yeah.
Just state it. Just if you say the issue, just say the delay. Okay? And then just tell us that by right, how is it being handled. Understand?
Okay, Doctor. Very well noted.
Okay. So you can write from that perspective, huh? That should be the second. I think in the e-league, I mean in the one that I WhatsApp you, I actually changed case 34 to case 32. I swapped these two around. So after today's lecture, you refer to the clauses in your PWD. The one that I gave you is JKR one that is under the, I mean, I gave you sample clauses that is at the end of every class, at the end of the notes lah. But the front bit is all talking about the issues of payments and also what are the terminology in payments. That is in the pre-recorded lecture. About 6 pre-recorded or 6 or 5. 6 pre-recorded is more on the issues of the sorry, not the issues, the terminology, what is claim, what is payment, what is provisional sum, what is prime cost sum, you know, all these contractual terms that you see in your contract. Yeah, and then how payments are handled, the procedures of payment, all that. Then after that, issues. I have got 2 class on each 2 segments on issues. Non-payment delays, you know, and then payment not enough, you know, they cut the payment. You submit 500,000, they end up paying you 250 million. And these are some of the major issues in construction or in any contract that happen. Like, for example, they don't allow you to claim so much. Why? You know, is it wrong? Can they do that? See? So, yeah. And like I said, most contracts they don't write to a point that they actually put themselves at that kind of disadvantage lah. So they will just keep quiet on non-payment they'll keep quiet on delay they'll keep quiet on underpayment. So underpayment, delay in payment, non-payment, these are typical issues that you will see a lot in contracts. Not all contract will delay payment. Even though it's stated 30 days from the certificate, they don't do it at all. Actually, that is wrong. If you go up into a dispute kind of level, it can be very serious. And then you go to court, you're straight away on the losing side. Okay, right. All right. Any other questions? I hope today's class is useful to you all to explain on contract, standard form, and some of the clauses. Okay. Right. So you just wait for me to upload the recording lah. Should be about 7 or 8 recording. I don't remember actually. Yeah. Right. So I think even though we thought that we can finish early, it's already 10:30 or so. Yeah, quite a lot of things to cover. I always like this sort of class. I mean, I always like contract classes because that is my area of specialties. I'll be very straightforward with you. That's why I give a lot of examples in construction. Is because my own expertise is in construction, contract administration. So, I have expertise in that area. So I don't dare to cover other things like manufacturing or anything like that. So it's good that you all like Amira, right? You bring up a manufacturing kind of contract or hire and service kind of contract. At the end of the day, the basic to a contract is the same, you know? All contract will deal with time, cost, quality, and all that. So whatever that I'm talking to you, I will give you more from a perspective of construction. I do not want to go away from that, because if I go away from that, I may not be an expert in that area, you see, so that I may give you the wrong information. But if you have the contract, like the actual contract from your workplace or manufacturing, or from oil and gas or from anything like that, then I'm more than happy to help you to take a look and review on it. And then we work together to resolve, whatever that is need to be resolved in that sense, based on your contract documents. Yeah. So not everything must be standard form. The concept is contract document, you see, not standard form. Contract document, part of the contract document is a standard form that is listing out the obligations and duties of the contractor. So if you don't have standard form, you have a contract, inside there should also be terms and conditions that list down the responsibilities and the roles, and also the obligations and the rights of the people who are in contract. It's the same thing, okay? It's just that both are shirts, okay? Just that one is a free size t-shirt, one is a tailor-made t-shirt. That's all. Okay, understand? Okay, I think there's no more questions. All right, so you guys can take a leave now if you want. Okay, if you have any other questions, I'm still here. I will do the QR code for Zain. I think he came in for a little while just now.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
You have a good day.
Uh,
Thank you, Doctor.
Hey, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye.